Hello and welcome back. We are here to continue talking about Chapter 2. This is Section 2.2, which I believe is titled something like More on Functions, or even more function information, something like that. So what we're going to be doing is essentially continuing with getting information from graphs, right? We talked about domain and range, x-intercepts, y-intercepts, and different function values in section 2.1. So now we're going to add a few more things to the list. So let's list them all out first, and then of course we'll run through some examples in the next video. The first new piece of information is going to be intervals where the function is increasing. So this is more or less as it sounds, right? The basic idea here is our perspective is moving from left to right on the function along the graph, and so we're essentially as if we were sort of riding along the function in like a mine cart or like on a roller coaster or something, thinking about as we go from left to right in the x values, the height values, if they're getting larger, right, then that's going to be a function that's increasing. I suppose I should maybe at the same time put intervals where we are decreasing as well. These two really go together. So this is x's from left to right, and what we're looking for are y values getting larger. So in general, right, we're looking for our function to be sort of headed up and to the right. That kind of intuitively looks like it's increasing again if we're sort of traveling from left to right. That's the basics of it. It's essentially kind of what you would expect if I didn't tell you anything. If we're decreasing, obviously this is going to be the opposite relationship. So still moving x's from left to right. And in this case, if we're decreasing, that means our y values are getting smaller. So that's going to be sort of heading down and to the right. We were doing this with graphing lines and slope, right? A positive slope is an increasing slope. Any of our positive slopes headed sort of up and to the right. Our negative slopes were our decreasing slopes. They're heading sort of down and to the right. If we're not increasing and we're not decreasing, the only other option is we must be essentially standing still. And so what that means, what that's called, is an interval where we are constant. So this is sort of interval or intervals, right? We could have one or more or none of all of these different intervals in our graphs. So intervals where we're constant. So again, this is x's from left to right. Essentially what we're going to get is y values stay the same, right? So this is just a totally flat horizontal section of the graph. So this can happen, right? It's sort of we can think of this, our graphs generally is almost an elevation map or some sort of like landscape. You have, peaks and valleys going sort of up and going down, or you have like a plateau, right, that is sort of flat across the top. The other information I'm going to hit in the next video.